The world doesn't reward kindness. It rewards power masked as virtue. If you've spent your life waiting to be chosen, heard, loved, stop. You were born not to be liked, but to conquer. Today is not about becoming confident. It's about becoming untouchable. This is dark confidence. And once it enters you, the world can never control you again. They told you to be humble. They told you to stay quiet, wait your turn, smile politely. And you listened. You made yourself small, digestible, agreeable, hoping the world would reward your softness. But what did it give you? Rejection, disrespect, emptiness. Because the world does not bow to kindness, it kneels before strength. And strength is not loud. It is silent, calculated, unapologetic. This is not the confidence of fake smiles and Instagram quotes. This is dark confidence, the kind you forge in isolation, the kind that rises when no one claps for you, when no one believes in you, not even you. But you keep going. You learn to move like a shadow, to observe before you speak, to sit in a room full of noise and remain unaffected. You become the storm people pretend isn't coming. Dark confidence is not about pretending you're perfect. It's about knowing your imperfections and still walking like you own the room. It's built on scars, not affirmations. On rejection, not praise. You stop waiting to be chosen because you've already chosen yourself. You no longer explain. You no longer seek approval. You are no longer a people pleaser. You are a strategist, a tactician of the self. When they laugh, you study. When they doubt, you sharpen. When they betray, you thank them. Because every enemy is free training. Every failure is new armor. And every loss is a silent preparation for your dominance. You start valuing your silence more than their validation. Your mind becomes a fortress, not built for everyone, only for those who earn entry. The more you suffer, the sharper your vision becomes. Because pain is clarity, rejection is realignment, and isolation is rebirth. You are not here to be nice. You are not here to be soft. You are here to master yourself. Because the man who cannot master himself will always be a slave to fear, to lust, to opinions. But you are becoming something else, something untouchable. A presence that doesn't beg to be seen but demands to be felt. So, let them talk. Let them leave. Let them misunderstand you. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to dominate in silence. And that, my friend, is the beginning of dark confidence. There's a kind of silence that isn't weak, it's dangerous. The kind that walks past you without blinking, that never explains, never reacts. That silence is power. Most people speak to be liked, to be validated, to be seen. But the dark confident? He speaks when it matters, and when he doesn't, the room still listens. Because his energy announces him before his mouth ever opens. Let others rush to prove themselves. You observe. You calculate. You let them expose their fears, while you sharpen your mind like a blade. Your rejection is your fuel. Your silence is your battlefield. You don't chase love, you become a standard they can never touch again. You don't chase success, you become the reason others study in silence. They called you cold, distant, mysterious, good. Let them. You're not here to be figured out. You're here to be respected. Remember, control isn't in domination. It's in restraint. It's when you could destroy them with a word but you don't, because you've already won the war inside yourself. They can't manipulate you anymore. Not with compliments, not with guilt, not with attention. Because you're not thirsty for what they offer, you've tasted solitude, and it made you dangerous. You've embraced your darkness, and now it's your weapon. While they scream for attention, you're building in silence. While they crave comfort, you're training in fire. While they chase approval, You're cutting ties. Slowly, quietly, ruthlessly. Dark confidence is not for everyone. It's for the few who got tired of being broken. It's for the ones who buried their tears and chose revenge through self-mastery. You don't need to post it. You don't need to prove it. They'll feel it. In your stillness, in your eyes, in your presence. And by the time they realize who you've become, you'll already be gone. Kill the need to be liked. Wanting to be liked is the first leash they put around your neck. And you wore it like a medal. You said yes when you wanted to say no. You laughed at jokes that insulted your soul. You shrank, softened, adjusted, all for what? Acceptance? From people who wouldn't bleed a drop for you if you vanished? The truth is brutal. The more you seek approval, the more you become a ghost in your own life. Dark confidence begins the moment you bury that. Need not hide it, not tame it, but kill it. Forever. Because when you no longer crave to be liked, you start to become real. Your voice deepens, your decisions sharpen, your walk becomes heavier. You say less, but everything you say lands like a weapon. You don't need to raise your voice, your aura speaks for you. You don't flatter people, you study them. You don't impress, you observe who's even worth speaking to. The world doesn't respect desperation, it exploits it. And the man who needs nothing controls everything. They'll call you arrogant, distant, rude, good. Wear it like armor. Because it means they felt your boundaries. And that's something they're not used to. You see, most people are slaves to opinion. Terrified of being disliked, they mold themselves into mirrors, reflecting whatever others want. But mirrors don't lead, they follow. They don't walk, they copy. Not you. You're no longer in the business of being liked. You're in the business of being undeniable. And when you carry that kind of energy, calm, composed, and cold, the world either respects you or fears you. Both are wins. Remember this. The lion doesn't seek the sheep's approval. And neither should you. Let them whisper. Let them misunderstand. Let them leave. You didn't come here to be liked. You came here to be remembered. Turn pain into ruthless power. They hurt you. They lied. They left. They used you, broke you when all you offered was loyalty. And yet, you're still standing. Not the same, colder now, sharper, quieter, but still here. That pain you carry? Don't numb it. Don't run from it. Use it. Because pain is not your enemy. Pain is your rebirth. Every tear you hid, every scream you swallowed, every night you thought no one would understand, that was training. Training to become untouchable. While they mocked your silence, you were building a storm. While they moved on, you were evolving. Pain doesn't make you weak, denial does. The dark confident doesn't erase his pain, he turns it into a weapon, into drive, into focus, into ambition so ruthless, it silences everyone who doubted. When they said, "You've changed," they meant you stopped breaking for us. Good. That's the point. You are no longer here to be soft for people who handled you carelessly. You don't owe closure. You don't owe kindness. You owe revenge, not the petty kind, but the kind where you succeed so savagely that their memory burns with regret. You rise with eyes that no longer seek comfort, but clarity. You no longer beg to be understood, because you finally understand yourself. That pain they gave you, it was your blueprint, your fuel, your initiation. The world doesn't need another broken soul pretending to smile, it needs a warrior forged in fire. And that's you. You are not broken. You are reborn. So carry your pain like a crown. Let it whisper to you at night and remind you who you're becoming. Because the day you thank your pain is the day you finally become dangerous. The power of strategic detachment. Attachment is beautiful until it becomes your prison. You cared too much. You gave too deep. You held on to people who were already letting go of you, and that destroyed you. But not anymore. Strategic detachment is not about being cold, it's about being clear. It's when your emotions no longer control your actions, when you feel everything, but react to nothing. That's where dark confidence is born. You stop chasing closure. You stop begging to be understood. You realize power begins the moment you choose yourself over their chaos. You detach, not because you don't care, but because you finally do. You care about your peace, your energy, your path. And when they see they can no longer manipulate your reactions, they panic. Your silence becomes your shield. Your indifference becomes your power. You're not avoiding the world, you're mastering it. You become a mystery they can't decode, a presence they can't shake. And when they come back, they always come back. It's too late. Because the old you that waited, begged, and broke, that version was destroyed. Strategic detachment is the ultimate power. It says, I can walk away from anything and still be whole. You're not afraid to lose anymore because you know how to rebuild. You know your worth is not tied to who stays, it's rooted in who you refuse to become again. People who once controlled your emotions now scramble for your attention, but you're focused, unbothered, unreachable. Because when you detach from what drains you, you become magnetic to everything that builds you. Remember this. Real power isn't loud. It's calm, distant, and untouchable. That's who you are now. Cold, number clear. And that clarity is terrifying. Silence. The most dangerous weapon. Power doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And sometimes it says nothing at all. The most dangerous man in the room is the one who speaks the least. Because silence is not absence, it's control. When you stop explaining yourself, they wonder. When you stop reacting, they fear. Your silence forces them to face themselves, their guilt, their games, their weaknesses. You're not quiet because you're unsure. You're quiet because you're watching, calculating, and that terrifies them. Weak men speak to be noticed. Strong men move in silence and let their results echo. Don't tell them what you'll do, just do it. Quietly, ruthlessly, permanently. Remember, lions don't roar to prove they're lions, they just hunt. How to make them regret losing you. They let you go like you didn't matter. Like your loyalty, your time, your energy meant nothing. They moved on, replaced you, forgot you, or at least they pretended to. And it hurt, didn't it? That kind of betrayal doesn't just sting. It burns. But you didn't crumble. No, you went silent. You chose evolution over explanation. And now is the time to rise so high that your silence becomes their loudest regret. You don't make them regret losing you by begging. You don't do it by chasing. You do it by becoming so powerful, so undeniable, that your existence becomes a mirror of everything they lost. You stop being the broken one. You stop being available for people who once looked at you like an option. You don't explain. You elevate. While they scroll, you build. While they gossip, you grind. While they laugh, you plan. And the more you grow, the more they feel it quietly, secretly. Because people always feel the absence of someone who gave them everything. And now, they'll feel your absence as a void they can never refill. You'll walk into rooms with a presence that commands attention not because you need it, but because you've become unignorable. Your name will echo in spaces they enter. Your energy will haunt the corners of their mind, not because you want revenge, but because you no longer exist in their world. You've built your own. You are no longer who you were when they left you. Are dangerous now. Emotionally disciplined. Sharper. Colder. Clearer. The version of you they once took for granted is dead. And in its place stands someone who doesn't need closure, because success was the answer all along. You'll never need to say a word. Your lifestyle will speak. Your glow-up will scream. Your peace will shout. And when they realize they can't access you anymore, when they feel you've outgrown the version of yourself that tolerated their indifference, that's when regret hits. Let it. Let them miss the old you. The soft, giving, always their version. Because you didn't evolve to make them proud. You evolved to never feel that pain again. Remember, the sweetest revenge is not hate. It's evolution. It's peace. It's walking past them one day with eyes that no longer search, with a soul that no longer waits because you've already won. And when they finally understand what they lost, you'll be too far gone to care. One is coming to save you. You keep waiting for someone to fix it, for someone to see your pain, to reach in, pull you out, and give you the life you've been dreaming of. But here's the truth, brutal and bare. No one is coming. Not your friends, not your family, not God, not fate, not luck. No hero is riding in on a white horse. And the sooner you swallow that truth, the faster you become dangerous. Because the man who realizes there is no backup plan, he becomes the plan. He stops waiting and starts building. He stops crying for help and starts sharpening his own sword. You've wasted years hoping someone would finally see your value. But now it's time to become so valuable, they can't afford to ignore you. That only happens when you rise alone, bruised, furious, and ready. You learn to hold yourself, heal yourself, push yourself. Because the world doesn't stop for your wounds, it crushes the ones who wait. Dark confidence isn't about fake toughness. It's about radical self-responsibility. You become your own rescue mission. You stop expecting fairness. You stop expecting apologies. You realize every second you sit still is one more second you hand them control. You want revenge? Build. You want justice? Focus. You want peace? Earn it through war. The world respects results, not pain. Power, not pity. Silence, not excuses. So stop posting about your struggles. Stop announcing your plans. Start becoming so lethal in your actions. The world has no choice but to move around you. Let them doubt. Let them leave. Let them say you changed. You should. Because the old you was waiting, hoping, suffering in silence. But this version, this cold, focused, self-made version doesn't wait. He hunts. He leads. He conquers. You don't need someone to save you. You just need to remember what happens when you finally stop asking for permission to live. You become unstoppable. The power of being underestimated. Let them underestimate you. Let them laugh. Let them call you weak, soft, quiet, irrelevant. Smile. Because the greatest advantage you will ever have is being unseen before you strike. While they brag, you observe. While they perform, you prepare. Because being underestimated is not an insult, it's an invitation. An invitation to rise without resistance. They won't block you, because they don't see you as a threat. That's your edge. That's your silent weapon. And when the time is right, you don't knock, you break the door down. You don't warn them. You outgrow them. The underestimated man is dangerous, because his ambition is quiet and his actions are loud. No one sees him coming until he's already taken the throne. They'll say, "I never thought he could." And you won't answer. Your results will do that for you. You don't need revenge. You need discipline. You don't need validation. You need focus. You don't need noise. You need movement. Quiet. Fast. Lethal. While they count followers, you count hours. While they gossip, you grind. And while they sleep, you strategize. Your silence is not weakness. It's pressure building. And when it finally breaks, they'll regret ever doubting you. Don't fight for attention. Don't beg to be seen. Become so good they'll have no choice but to study you. That is dark confidence. That is how legends are born, underestimated, ignored, and then impossible to outrun, become the person they said you'd never be. You remember what they said, don't you? You're not smart enough. You're not built for it. You won't last. Good. Never forget their words, not to cry over them, but to burn with them. Because every time they doubted you, they gave you a gift: fuel, fire, fury. They thought they broke you, but they only showed you who you had to become. And now, you owe it to your pain to evolve. Not to prove them wrong, but to prove to yourself that they never knew you at all. You become the version they swore you'd never reach. You sharpen your mind. You master your craft. You grow so far, so wide, so untouchable that your name becomes a contradiction to every lie they ever said about you. You don't need to tell them. You show them. In silence. In results. In elevation so violent, their memory can't keep up. Let them scroll past your success, pretending not to see. Let them avoid eye contact when you enter the room they thought you'd never belong in. It doesn't matter. Because the best part of becoming who they never believed in is knowing they never had the power to stop you. Only you did. And now that power belongs fully to you. You didn't win because they helped. You won because they left. You didn't heal because they apologized. You healed because you got tired of bleeding for people who never knew how to hold you. So walk different now. Think sharper. Speak slower. Move cleaner. And when they finally whisper, "How did he do it?" let them sit with the silence. Because that silence is you, unbreakable, undeniable, and absolutely unforgettable. Train like nobody believes in you. Stop training like they're watching. Stop working like someone's gonna save you. Nobody's coming, remember? So train like everyone doubts you. Like no one will clap. Like no one will check in. That's when you become dangerous. Because now you're working in silence, not for applause, but for transformation. You stop lifting for aesthetics, you train like a warrior. You don't read books to sound smart, you study to outthink your enemies. You stop performing, and you start preparing. This is where dark confidence is born. When the world forgets you, and you choose to remember who you really are. You kill the ego. You embrace the grind. You disappear into discipline. No announcements. No motivation quotes. Just rage, control, and consistency. While they celebrate too early, you build in the shadows. While they take shortcuts, you go deeper. You're not chasing recognition, you're chasing mastery. And by the time they realize you're a threat, you've already taken the throne. You didn't need belief. You needed doubt. Doubt sharpens. Doubt reveals. Doubt turns you into a problem no one saw coming. So train harder when they laugh. Train smarter when they leave. Train like your life depends on it, because the version of you that's coming doesn't ask for permission. He takes what's his. Master the art of emotional coldness. Feel everything but show nothing. That's the art. That's the edge. The moment they know what breaks you, they control you. But when your face is calm, your eyes steady, and your energy silent, you become unreadable, unshakable. They can't play games with someone who doesn't flinch. Dark confidence isn't about becoming emotionless, it's about mastering your reactions. You don't suppress pain. You study it. You don't run from anger. You command it. You become emotionally cold, not because you're heartless, but because your heart is no longer a playground. You stopped giving full access to people who only showed up to feed off your peace. Now, your emotional energy is locked, vaulted, guarded. Not everyone gets a key, most don't even get a knock. And those who used to trigger you? Now they're confused. You don't argue. You don't defend. You just disappear.